Hello everyone, welcome to this presentation on Kovair Omnibus. Here we are going to showcase the capabilities of Omnibus in the embedded industry by setting up an integrated hub with a set of interconnected tools. For this presentation, we will be using Doors as the requirements management tool, IBM Rational Test Real-Time as the IDE, which is popularly known as RTRT. Code analysis being done using LDRA. We'll use ClearCase as the configuration management tool and Jira as the defect tracking tool. We'll be using Kovair as the central repository tool, where basic information of all the artifacts from each of the above mentioned tools will be maintained to derive an end-to-end traceability view. Now before I start the demo, let me take a few minutes of yours in briefing you the use case scenario of today's presentation. So first, we'll submit a requirement in Doors. The requirement would be visible to the developers from RTRT. At the same time, this requirement would also flow to Kovair as a requirement. Next, we will check out a code file through the ClearCase plugin for RTRT. We'll make certain modifications in that particular file and then try checking in the file to the ClearCase repository. At this point, the LDRA analysis dialog box will pop up with all the various options to select from. This is to initiate the code analysis through LDRA. We'll select a particular option, let's say main static analysis, and trigger the analysis to start. The analysis will be failed as per our configuration today, where we have modified the code likewise, and the analysis result will be returned back by LDRA to Kovair. In addition, the HTML based analysis report would be sent to Kovair as an attachment to the execution result record. Now, due to the failure of this code analysis, a defect gets automatically generated from LDRA and will be pushed to Jira as a bug. Now, after the LDRA analysis is completed, another dialog box will pop up to select the requirement to link it to the code file, and the file will be checked into ClearCase. At the end, we will look into the entire traceability chain that got generated in Kovair due to all these actions. Now let's get on with the demo flow. And as the first step of the use case scenario, first we will go into Doors to submit a new requirement. For today's demo purpose, we are using the LDRA demo project as the project in Doors, and here is the requirement module. So let's go ahead and submit a new requirement over here. So we name it as a request for a login page. So we get into the properties of this particular requirement, and we copy this particular heading and paste it in the shortlist and also in the object text dialog as well. And we apply and save the requirement. So once this requirement is saved in Doors, this would be visible to the developers from the RTRT, where they are writing the code to implement these requirements. So this is the RTRT environment, and first I would show you that this is the Kovair Omnibus plugin, by means of which you can view the requirements that are getting submitted from Doors. So select the filter as all requirements, and if I click on get items, here is the requirement. It's visible to the developers, which I submitted a couple of minutes back in Doors. So now as a developer, I would write some code, and here is my code repository. So I select a particular file, and to to make any modifications in that, first I will check it out using the Rational Clear Case plugin. So I write some comments. Now on checking on the file, let me make some modifications in the script, and here let's say I write so certain comments are being added, and I save this particular file, and then I will try to check it into the ClearCase repository. So at the time of checking in, I enter some comments as well. And at this particular moment, to analyze the code file, here we have an integration with LDRA, and based on which this dialog box opens up, which allows the developers to go for analyzing the code that it has written. So we go with the option as main static analysis, and here's the option to start the analysis. Let's wait for a couple of seconds so that the LDRA gets written the result. So here you can see it returns the result as overall status as failed. Clicking on this button would get me to the details of the analysis report in an HTML format as it is returned by LDRA. Here is the HTML based report that is being returned by LDRA, and you can see the details of the analysis is found over here. So if I now continue, the execution details along with the execution file and the analysis report would all be flowing back into Kovair and would be added as the different items under the respective artifacts. So execution file, the execution and the execution result will all be available to the management from the Kovair application. And in addition to that, the report, the analysis report is available as an attachment to the execution result record. Now at this particular point, if I want to check in the file, I can also have the option to select to the requirement to which I would like to associate this file. So I can select the particular requirement by selecting appropriate filters, and here is my requirement. Selecting this would associate the requirement to the code file. So the code file version from ClearCase would also be automatically inserted into Kovair with respect to the requirement that we started from doors. In addition to the code analysis by LDRA, as we have seen that the defect that the analysis has been retrieved the result as failed. So based on the failure of the execution result by the LDRA status, a defect is automatically created and is pushed to Jira, which is actually getting treated as a defect tracking tool. So if I go over here into my Jira project, you get to see that a defect has automatically been created out of the LDRA executions. So that completes the use case scenario which I showcased today in this presentation involving doors, RTRT, ClearCase, LDRA and Jira. Now I will take you to Kovair application to show the end-to-end traceability of all the artifacts that we worked on these various tools. So to do that, let us go back to Kovair and let me log in as a valid user. So first we'll go into the requirements, and we would go into this traceability view page which allows you to see the artifacts right from the requirements to the defects. So here you can see the requirement that we submitted from doors, and as we drill down, you'll get to see the code file version that we checked into clear case. Drilling down the code file version, you'll get to see the execution file that LDRA returned based on the analysis that has been done, and this is the file ID that has been returned along with the other artifacts like the execution path, the SCM file ID. Underneath the execution file, you'll get to see the execution details, and further drilling down the execution, you get to the execution result, and you can see from here, based on the testing of the analysis being done by LDRA, the code review result, which was returned as failed, is also getting reflected over here as well. In addition to this, the execution result also contains an attachment which is the zipped LDRA analysis report, which was returned by LDRA in the form of an HTML. So that HTML is being zipped and sent as an attachment along with the execution result back into Kovair, so that a user from the Kovair application also gets to see the details of the analysis being done. Further drilling down the execution result, at the end of this hierarchical chain, you will get to see the defect that was automatically inserted to Jira. So that is the advantage of using the Kovair Application Studio as the central repository that connects all the different tools by Omnibus, and getting the data accumulated into Kovair Application Studio to derive such end-to-end hierarchical traceability of all the artifacts being worked on these different tools. So as far as the advantages of this integration is concerned, firstly, it lets you to manage everything centrally in one place. Secondly, it imposes the code quality standards into the system. Thirdly, it leaves no impact on product stability. Fourthly, it helps you to manage build and defects centrally as well as remotely. And finally, it lets you to manage the LDRA results directly from the IDE. That's we have used RTRT in this. So that ends my presentation for this Kovair Omnibus integration capabilities on the embedded systems, where we showcased the integrations with LDRA along with RTRT, ClearCase and Jira as well as doors. I hope this presentation would give a lot of insights of Kovair Omnibus integration capabilities and the value it extracts by integrating with the embed systems like LDRA and others. Thank you for your time. If you have any further queries in this regard, please feel free to contact sales@kovair.com. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.